All right, we are live. What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman to go live to talk about the upset that just occurred on Thursday Night Football for our wonderful season opener. Um, Certainly was not one to believe that that was going to happen. Of course, it was in the back of my mind that possibly an upset, could be on the horizon given the circumstances with Kansas City. Um, do I want to talk? What do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk? I think you're referring to something, Outlaw. What are you referring to specifically? I'm interested. I'm interested. What are you referring to specifically? Like, I really don't. I'm kind of upset. I needed three more Pacheco yards, and I would have made a decent amount of cash tonight, but I'm kind of upset. What about Gibbs? I think Gibbs saw the workload that I was kind of expecting, if I'm going to be honest. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, we'll start on that note. I think Jahmyr Gibbs got the workload that we all should have expected. We went into a game where we knew the Lions had to play smash mouth football at the point of attack, and Jahmyr Gibbs isn't that type of inside the tacklers type of runner. He's outside, get him to the edge, pass catcher in space, burst type of runner. David Montgomery was better for this game script. There will be other games where Jahmyr Gibbs will be better for the game script. I think tonight was expected. I would have liked to see them give Jahmyr a couple more touches because every time he had the ball in his hands, he was electric. I was kind of shocked. Ben Johnson from like halfway through the fourth, Ben Johnson from the end of the first half till like halfway through the fourth quarter could not figure out that the Lions offensive line was going to outmuscle the Chiefs defensive front every single time they carried the ball. For some reason, Ben Johnson didn't realize that for a good portion of time, and they struggled. Jared Goff couldn't get any time. They really were out of whack for that window of time, and that was because they weren't giving it to Montgomery anymore. That was because they stopped giving it to Jahmyr Gibbs. They refused to run the ball in short yardage situations. It was bizarre. It was really bizarre what Ben Johnson's plan was at times, but he figured it out earlier in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden the Lions were chugging right down the field, just as they did on that touchdown drive they had earlier in the first half when they went for it on the fake punt. So, just very odd day for Ben Johnson. I thought it was an underwhelming day. I'm glad he figured it out because that's the type of football that this team is going to have to play if they want to be successful. But, it almost lost them the game. It was almost too late. The only reason why they came back is because Kadarius Toney dropped that ball and there was a pick six. That was the only reason why they were still in the game. I'm convinced that that was a third down, but that was the only reason why they stayed in the game for the most part. That was completely game changing. But Ben Johnson certainly, I was not pleased with Ben Johnson's performance at offensive coordinator today. Especially, we'll go through it. So here I'm going to pull up on screen the amount of times that the Lions didn't run the ball on a short yardage situation. So let me share my screen real quick, and we're gonna break it down. So can y'all see? Okay, it looks like it's pretty far away. Okay, so here we go. First drive of the game, we have the Lions at 2nd and 3, 3rd and 3. You're going deep with Jared Goff to Josh Reynolds. I'm not exactly sure what happened on this play, but you're at 4th and 3 on your own 32. I don't hate the idea of running it here. What about on 2nd and 3? Just the refusal to run the ball in these short yardage situations really killed the Lions consistently in this game. To where they had to get lucky. They had to catch some breaks to come. Like, they genuinely should have probably had this game in hand a lot sooner than they did. You could say the same about the Chiefs. But we're talking about a Lions team that should have been playing the type of football that they played in the entire fourth quarter. So that's one time that they didn't run the ball in a short yardage situation. This was the fake punt. This was the drive they actually started to really work in the play action. This was their touchdown drive, 1st and 10, 2nd and 5. Okay, so we'll go, and then they had the fumble. This was killer. There were two massive offensive breakdowns from the Chiefs that happened in this one. One being the pick six through Kadarius Toney's hands. Then this fumble when they were driving down the field here. This is where the offense really stalled out for the Lions. And then they just seemed out of whack the entire time. So here we have 1st and 10. They gain another 5 yards on first down. On 2nd and 5, they once again take another shot. They don't run the ball. On 3rd and 5, looking to drop back to pass. Just another sack. I mean, just the refusal to run it. It really was odd. 1st and 10, he throws a short pass, and then they throw another pass. And then here we go, another perfect example. 3rd and 1 after 2 straight passes on their own 34. This needs to be a run. This needs to be a carry with David Montgomery right up the middle. They need to manhandle that Chiefs interior the way they did in that 4th quarter, and they didn't. These were plays that killed Detroit all night long. I wish I could pull it up, but these were the types of plays that killed Detroit all night long. The refusal to run the ball and play offense the way that the Lions are built to play offense. Killed them. Absolutely killed them. Here's another one. I mean, 2nd and 10, they gain. Or is this a penalty on Detroit? Okay, never mind. But still, I mean, their offense was churning when they ran the ball. I think here's another one. 2nd and 8. They get down, they get down to a 3rd and 3 situation. And once again, pass incomplete to Josh Reynolds. I mean, I think my point has been proven here. I'm just confused as to, look at this, man. Another one. 3rd and 2. Jared Goff pass incomplete to Amon St. Brown. Like, what? And then here's the drive where I'm sure they just carry, short pass, carry. I mean, it was not a great showing from Ben Johnson. I was pretty disappointed for Ben Johnson in this one. And then we can even talk about this from the Chiefs' perspective as well. They got too cute. They do not have the chemistry. They do not have the playmakers to do what they typically are used to doing, man. This was the direct snap to Blake Bell. 3rd and 1. You're in a 3rd and 1 situation. I get Mahomes does not like to sneak the ball, but maybe you say to Pat, hey, look, the ball needs to be in your hands here. We need to get you to have the ball. You need to figure it out. You need to make it work. Instead, the ball is in the hands of Blake Bell. They give it to Rashee Rice on the end around, and they get blown up. A short yardage situation where they're running backwards, or they're dropping back, or they're not just going straight forward. And this happened with Kansas City a couple times throughout the game as well. So, I thought there were many different this game was far from perfect for either side, either team. This game was far from perfect. It was, to be frank, it looked like a week 1 game. It looked like the season opener. A lot of rust. A lot of rust. It was a lot of rust. Absolutely. Andrew says the Chiefs wide receivers were asked tonight, and we can dive right into this topic, man. I mean, I don't even think we need to break down any stats. We don't need to watch any film to figure out how bad the Chiefs receivers were tonight, right? Like I said, neither side of the ball was perfect. If there was one unit that deserves the most flack, it's definitely the Chiefs unit. This was a terrible showing, an absolutely horrendous showing for the Chiefs wide receiver group. I'm a Justin Ross lover. I'm not too sure how many routes he ran. I'm not too sure what his snap share looked like. But him, Rashee Rice, you got to get guys like Sky Moore off the field, I think. I don't know when the Sky Moore experiment's going to end, but I think we've gotten to a point where, he's out there running 80% of routes and he's just barely getting looked at. He's barely getting worked in. I think Sky Moore's time is done. I personally didn't think Sky Moore was going to have any type of breakout season. I wasn't big on Sky Moore going into the year. This week was not too promising for him. I'm shocked by the Kadarius Toney letdown that we saw. I would like to imagine this isn't going to be the end of Kadarius Toney by any stretch. Kadarius Toney's going to return. They're going to work Kadarius Toney in and get his confidence back up because he is one of their best playmakers offensively. Just a bad night. I mean, really the only thing they got going for them through the air was Mahomes on a broken play, Mahomes throwing somebody open, scrambling around or sitting behind the offensive line with a lot of time. That was really the only time the Chiefs really moved the ball down the field through the air. Maybe get Marquez Valdes-Scantling involved more. I understand he's your deep threat, but maybe he needs to be worked in more like Josh Reynolds was on the intermediate middle portion of the field. But the Chiefs, a lot of rust. The receiver room definitely is a cause of concern. I would be shocked if Travis Kelce wasn't playing next week. He's probably seizing in his car or wherever he is in the locker room right now. Travis Kelce's going to be back, and he's going to be back with a vengeance. And who knows? I tweeted it out, but it's safe to say that we might be seeing. Who knows? How long do you guys think? Here's a question for you. How long do you guys think it takes for Mike Evans to be a Chief? After that, if we continue to see performances like that out of the Chiefs pass catchers, how many weeks do you think it takes for Mike Evans to be a Chief? Let's say the Bucs drop their first 4 of 5 or their first 6 of 7. Do they even wait till the deadline to trade for Mike Evans? Do they even wait? I don't think they do. Like at this point, do you even wait? I don't think you do. What's the point of waiting? How long is it until Mike Evans is a Chief? The Lions wanted to erase that McDaniel's bad. Yes. And also give Gibbs the damn ball. 2 years in a row, defending champs are embarrassed at home. That is true. Last year, we saw the Rams get their pants pulled down by the Bills in their own home stadium. That was a fun one. This one, not so much. I didn't have fun watching. Okay, let me take that back. I had a blast watching this game. But I needed 2 more Isaiah Pacheco yards that is going to burn my ass for a very long time because they just refuse to give him the ball on the ground. I don't understand why. And I picked the Chiefs. That's going to burn my ass too. But anyway, shout out Bills Mafia. That's right. Kadarius Toney lost them this game. I think Sky Moore had a couple of opportunities to make a play, and he just flat out couldn't. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think it was, had that nice play on the knockout. But Sky Moore needs to have stronger hands there. CJ is coming around his back. Maybe I could try and find the play. But he's coming around his back. You need to have strong hands there. The ball was in your hands long enough. You need to be able to secure that ball. I also thought on the 4th and 25, Mahomes threw a perfect pass over the top, and it hit Sky Moore in the hands. It dead-ass hit Sky Moore in the hands, and he dropped it. It would have been an insane catch and an insane completion, but you need your guys to come up with something at some point, right? And that would have been the best moment too. Every issue with the Chiefs is forgotten about if Sky Moore makes that catch or if Kadarius Toney makes that catch. Nobody thinks of any of the problems. Nobody. This game broke a record for the most offside penalties that should have been called. Yes, this was the other big topic of conversation. Jawaan Taylor, the Chiefs' right tackle, was very active before, during, and after the snap. It was for Jawaan Taylor's sake. This is what I'm going to say. Even though it did bite him in the ass at the end of the game. Let me present my screen again here. Why does it do that? What's this background? Let's get rid of this, John. Let's do this. Okay, that's much better. Okay, look at this. So Jawaan Taylor obviously is going to be your guy on the right side of the offensive line. He was doing this all night. Also, the rule for offensive tackles when it comes to lining up pre-snap, helmet needs to be belt buckle of the center. This is about belt buckle of the center. I think it's safe to say he's not belt buckle of the center. I think it's safe to say that Jawaan Taylor definitely got away with a lot tonight. I think it's a stretch to say that the Lions were really screwed. I mean, I think at the end of the day, this didn't make that much of a difference. I think it definitely disrupted Aiden Hutchinson a lot more than it should have. Aiden Hutchinson had a monster night to begin with. But yeah, he definitely got away with this a bit more than he should. He's going to step early. This wasn't even the worst one. The worst one was when he got called for it. I mean, he is quite clearly gone before the ball is snapped. The ball is snapped. He's already in motion. So Jawaan Taylor had a night. And I didn't even think, of course, him leaving early and getting his drop step in so quick is important. But, the belt buckle rule, like I said, that's also a big implication too. I'm just not sure how these refs are supposed to watch this. We know the NFL is infamous for not adapting to technology and not doing things to help the game improve and just to help the refs. But, how are the refs supposed to to watch, like, oh, are the tackles lined up within the belt buckle? Are the tackles not leaving early? Or are the guards not twitching? The receivers not twitching? Are the receivers lined up on the offensive, on the line of scrimmage properly? Because you can't be covering pass catchers. There's so much to watch that we don't know, that I don't know, that we don't see with the naked eye, that these refs have to watch every single snap. Every snap, they have so much to watch. So, if I'm Jawaan Taylor, I say this about Sauce Gardner as well, and I'll get into that in a second. If I'm Jawaan Taylor, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to keep doing it. And I know this was talked about on Twitter. I'm pretty sure the broadcast said it at some point. If I'm Jawaan Taylor, I'm doing it every time. If I'm not going to get called for it, I'm going to do it. That's a smart player to me. Obviously, it bit them in the ass very late, but that was because he jumped absurdly early, like way earlier than he had been all game. If he had jumped at the same time that he had been jumping previously, he's not called for it. I give credit to Jawaan Taylor. I give credit to players like this that are smart, that know what they can and what they can't get away with. The reason why this ties into Sauce Gardner is because he does the same kind of thing. Everybody complains that Sauce Gardner, he's the DPI master. All he does is hold. He's so handsy, blah, blah, blah. Sauce Gardner knows when and when he cannot get away with being physical, with being extra handsy. Sauce Gardner is smart. He knows when the refs are going to hold that flag in their pocket because they don't want to decide a big moment in the game. He knows that because of the course of history with football. They know, or he knows, that refs have been scrutinized terribly for throwing flags in big moments and determining the game or having a big impact on the game. He knows that. Jawaan Taylor is doing something similar here, and I think all you can do is really applaud him for it because it's smart. It's smart. If they're not going to call it, everyone should be doing this. Spencer Brown should be doing this. I don't care who it is. They all should be doing this. So I think Jawaan Taylor, it's ugly. It's interesting to see if we saw a fair Aiden Hutchinson versus Jawaan Taylor matchup all night. I'm pretty sure Aiden Hutchinson would have had a few more wins. I think that's very safe to say. It would have been more fun to see Aiden Hutchinson in that motor go. But I think, like I said, Jawaan Taylor deserves his credit too because it's smart. It's smart. I didn't get to catch the whole game. How much of it was good Lions defense and how much of it was shitty Chiefs offense? Lions defense didn't look good to me. They really didn't. I think the Chiefs' shitty offense really was what tore them. They tore themselves apart. I think they refused to run the ball with Pacheco as much as they should have. And that's not just because I lost a bet. That's because there were many opportunities where I thought they should have been handing it to Pacheco and they didn't. And we could talk about the drops. We could talk about the bad play calling in short yardage situations. There was a lot wrong with the Chiefs' offense tonight. And I think when the Lions defense had a chance to make a play outside of the pick six, they rarely did. They did make a couple stops where they held them to field goals here and there, but I do think a lot of the stops that the Lions made, I don't want to not give them credit because that wouldn't be fair, but I do think a lot of the bigger moments in the game were more Chief implosions than they were Lions making a great play, if you will. But no, not to take away from them. Jack Campbell had a great pass breakup. James Houston had a great ankle bite on Mahomes on that one drive, and he was able to disrupt his ability to leave the pocket. McKinnon wasn't able to hold on to the ball. That was a big stop, held him to a field goal. There were big plays that the Lions made. But like I said, the pick six, that's a Chief implosion. The stop on that 3rd and 1 where they did that bullshit sweep, that's a Chief implosion. I'm sorry. That's a Lions stop, but that's a Chief implosion more than anything to me. So, and Justin says it perfectly. Lions tried playing too pretty at times, and so did the Chiefs, man. So did the Chiefs. The Chiefs are known to play pretty. That's what they do. They like to do ballerina spins pre-snap and then line up with their running back under center or their tight end under center. This is what they're known for. But at the end of the day, when you don't have guys that are all together all the time, and you don't have a unit that's consistent, you're in the first week of the NFL season. 2 new offensive tackles, a bunch of new pass catchers. You don't have your veteran Travis Kelce. You need to stray away from that type of play calling and just simplify things. And Kansas City had a hard time doing that. And you would think the most simple thing you can do is keep the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands. I mean, if anything, if you're Matt Nagy and you're Andy Reid, you're like, hey, look, we're struggling at times, but we just need to make sure Mahomes has the ball. And in the biggest spot of the game, they do this Blake Bell, Rashee Rice, or whoever it was, sweep bullshit. Like that to me was implosion. I mean, I think the Chiefs, I think the Lions, I won't even say they played pretty. I think the Lions were just stupid at times. I think Ben Johnson just got stupid. He lost his head. He wasn't thinking clearly. I don't know if you want to call it pretty or what. I think Ben Johnson just lost his way for a short time there, whereas I think the Chiefs were the ones that tried to play too pretty. But yeah, hey, Jawan Taylor, it was a night for him. It was a night for Jawan Taylor, to say the least. But I want to take a moment to honor the offensive line for the Detroit Lions, because once Ben Johnson figured it out, it was over. It really was. I mean, everybody's talking about him getting bulldozed. I mean, this is all up. I wish I can get the actual film. But they obviously don't have it ready yet. Hold on, let me share screen. Okay. Shout out Dove for all the. All right, so here's just one of many plays where this was the drive that was obviously the game winner. This was the drive where Ben Johnson, he decided, hey, look, here's my play sheet. I don't care what run it is, but as long as it's between the tackles with David Montgomery, I don't give a shit. And this is exactly what he should have been doing all game. This should have been the game plan from minute 1 to minute 0. I mean, it was beautiful. This is just a complete manhandling. David Montgomery is given. I mean, look at all this space. Look at that hole that Penei Sewell is able to get cleared out. I mean, it is a gorgeous. I don't know who their left guard is, but the pull is beautiful. Sam Laporta even comes into the fold, and he picks up a big block to assist Penei Sewell. And a guy like David Montgomery is bursting through arm tackles. You don't need the hole to be wide open because I'm not running through it. David Montgomery is. The dude can probably squat 400 pounds, and he can probably bench 400 pounds. Who knows? But he's a strong guy. You're going to need to get your whole torso in front of him to bring him down. And when your lane is as wide open as this is, and Montgomery's able to just fight, there's one arm tackle. There's an arm. He made a guy miss there. Arm tackle. I mean, they just never really got in his way. This was the type of smash mouth football that the Lions needed to play all night, and they just strayed away from it. If you want to say that was too pretty, that's fine. That's fine. Just too much play action when they could have run the ball with the line. Are you referring to? I think that's what the Lions needed to do. They needed to run the ball to set up the play action. That was when their passing game really worked. They set up the ground game with plays like the exact one we just replayed, and then you hit them with the play action. You got Josh Reynolds bursting through the middle and cutting short, finding the hole. Khalif Raymond did it one time. This was the type of football that should have been being played all night, and this was the drive that won them the game because they were playing Lions football. I mean, it really is that simple. It really is. I also want to give some credit to Jared Goff because I do think the big difference in the first half between the two teams offensively was the quarterbacks, right? We had Jared Goff. Jared Goff had a few misses, and he was just chucking it short at points when he really should have been trying to push down the field and face the pressure. But now you're going to, and he deserves the credit for that. Let's check this one out. This was a beautiful ball. I think this was the third down. I can't remember. Was this the third? No, this was early in the first half, right? Coming out of play action, established the ground game. Linebackers are all biting down. The only guy you really have to worry about here is that L'Jarius Sneed. He's coming back, but he's really not booking it. You got, I think is that Khalif Raymond dragging everyone out. And then, I mean, that ball is gorgeous, man. You have Jared Goff. George Karlaftis is bearing down. He steps up. Don't know who 91 is, but he's coming down on him as well. And the ball right over the head of the linebacker, right before the safety. And obviously the corner really isn't coming into play. The ball is gorgeous. The ball is gorgeous. That was a big completion. That was one of the better balls that Jared Goff threw all night. I want to find the one on that third down in the second half. That was massive. Is this it here?
Right here.
No, this is the Khalif Raymond ball. This was a good one. It wasn't very often where Jared Goff was left to stand back there and he was completing the pass, but this was one of those opportunities, and this was on a deep second down, if I'm not mistaken. A free rusher is going to come off the edge. One of the slot corners is going to make it through. Also interrupt Khalif's release, but he's so fast that he is able to run his post short. He's able to threaten deep. Holy shit. Actually, hold on. Did Jared Goff miss a touchdown? Oh yeah, Jared. The safety might have been booking it over. That's a dangerous throw. Is it a dangerous throw? Did Jared Goff miss a touchdown? Are we saying Jared Goff missed a touchdown here? He might have. That's crazy, actually. Oh no, this isn't even the. Wait a second. This is not the ball that I thought it was. Hold on. Either way, he still might have. Okay, hold on. Really, internet? Bad time for that, internet. Come on. Bad time. Hold on. Bear with me. That was not the ball I thought it was. I thought that was the Khalif Raymond ball. Here it is. Here we go. Is this for real?
They fake it in here.
Okay. So this is not the ball I thought it was. But either way, free release. This is I thought this was the third down. This was the deep third down. I don't know how this was completed, man. When I watched it in real time first, I thought it got deflected and somehow just ended up in someone's arm. But this is how you stand in under pressure. And Jared Goff in his career has notoriously struggled at doing that. Maybe you would like to see him step up just a slight bit more because, you are playing with fire here. You are playing with fire when you don't step up enough and you know that release is coming off the edge like that. Once you cock that ball back, if your release isn't fast enough and Jared Goff's release isn't insane, it's not insanely quick, that's a strip. But he somehow is able to get it out. It looks like his arm goes through the corner's arms at the same time. And somehow he catches this linebacker whose change of direction is probably like a 32 in Madden, unable to get there. Oh, that was just, it's a great ball. It's a great ball. And a great adjustment, too. Is that a Monra? I wouldn't be shocked. No, it was Josh Reynolds. Although I think he does miss a touchdown here. Does he miss a touchdown? I still don't know. I'm not going to make that determination because, where does he? To me, this needs to go to Amon-Ra instantly. I don't know about y'all. I think this is a great throw, a fortunate completion, but this needs to go to Amon-Ra. Credit to Goff for making the toss. This is a miss to me. This is a misread. That's terrible. That actually is terrible. That's a misread. And then he decides to. This looks premeditated, to be honestly. I can't tell. He's kind of looking over. Yeah, he starts on Khalif's side, but this looks premeditated to me the whole way. I don't think Jared actually. I don't think Jared really went through the progression. This was probably the primary ball. And he just kind of threw it and hoped. Yeah, that's got to go to Amon-Ra every time. Khalif had him pulled down. That's a touchdown to Amon-Ra every time. But still, absolutely gorgeous ball. Absolutely gorgeous ball. But there was another ball, too, to Khalif Raymond that was a good ball, too. Oh, yeah, here it is. But look where his slot receiver is releasing. Streak open for a touchdown. Yep, okay. Fourth. What is this? We saw that already. Gutsy throws. Yep, we saw that one. There was a ball at the end of the first half, though, that Goff overthrew, and I thought that was the biggest difference. I thought that got deflected. I wasn't able to find it earlier, but let's see if I can pull it up right before halftime here. It was right here, downs. Okay. This right here. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but This was the biggest difference in the game as far as the first half goes. Pat Mahomes completed a 3rd and 20 to Marquez Valdez-Scantling over the middle and absolutely laid it in MVS's lap. We've seen that connection a few times now work that way. And it was gorgeous. And Jared Goff was, I think it was this ball. Yep. The 2nd and 10 deep right to Marvin Jones. I'm not sure where this would have ended up as far as completion, like where they would have been if this ball was complete, but he had Marvin Jones on a crosser, and he just missed him. He sailed it over his head. It went out of bounds. Definitely a miss you can't have. Jared Goff was fortunate tonight. He played well. He made throws he had to, but there were a lot of moments where he was fortunate. A lot of moments where Ben Johnson was fortunate. If I'm the Lions, I'm happy. You beat the reigning champions in their own home. But a far from perfect game. If I'm the Chiefs, I feel good. Obviously, you're pissed that you lose, but you feel good because you know that if you have Kelce, you have Kelce, you have Chris Jones, you probably win this game by 20 points. They absolutely bootstrapped the Lions for most of that game without Chris Jones. If they had Chris Jones, it's just that much worse for them. You have Travis Kelce. Who knows how many more plays are made? Who knows how many opportunities we didn't even see that could have been created because of Kelce's presence. So if I'm Kansas City, I'm fine. This is one of those losses that you just, you rub off early on. I think the receivers will end up being fine once Kelce's back. They won't feel as much pressure on their shoulders. There's just a ton of pressure. Oh, Kelce's out now. We have to step up. What are we going to do? Who's going to be the one to really take on that role? I think they'll be fine. I want to find that ball to MVS. Let's see if I can find it because that completion, I haven't gotten to rewatch it because it was crazy. Laporta, I think, should get more targets in 3rd down situations. He was looking good for the most part tonight. He was. I was impressed by Sam Laporta's presence. I did not expect that. The Lions tight ends, my interpretation of the Lions tight ends was the complete opposite of how I interpret the Chiefs tight ends. The Chiefs tight ends, more often than not Travis Kelce, are so involved because it's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is so involved in the Chiefs offense because he is Travis Kelce. It's not really it's kind of the way that offense operates, but at the end of the day, it's Travis Kelce. The Lions, on the other hand, it's just a plug and play. Their tight end is, there's no design with their tight ends. Usually it's typically, okay, I don't care who it is. It's 87, 83, 82, 89. I don't care what tight end it is. It could be a lineman, 72. I don't care. He's running this, flat route, or he's running a curl 2 yards, or he's, running a drag. Any of the tight ends in Detroit can do what they want their tight ends to do, if that makes sense. But with Laporta, it seems like he is exactly what they drafted him to be, that athletic playmaker, open field kind of guy. And they can actually start to design around Laporta. So I'm excited to see how he's worked in because I did not expect his presence to be so known. I almost bet under 3. I saw the sports books have Laporta's line in 3 receptions. I'm like, no way Laporta gets the 3 receptions. And then I suspiciously saw FanDuel raise Laporta's reception line to 3.5. And I'm sitting there like, this is the most obvious bet to take under ever. It was obviously the odds were terrible. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why did they even bother boosting this to 3.5 receptions in the first place? That was suspicious to me. So I avoided it. And lo and behold, Laporta, how many did Laporta have? How many fucking catches did Laporta have? He was their best fucking receiver. Laporta was the best receiver all night, for being honest. Laporta was the best pass catcher in this game. Jeez, 21 carries for Montgomery. Jeez. Okay, Amon-Ra had a great game. Let me not undermine that. Laporta had 5 catches, so he was great. Shout out Sam Laporta. Here's to Dalton Kincaid making such an impact in his first appearance because we know he's going to have 2 targets. Fucking Bills. Man, I'm a Bengals fan. F the Chiefs and the Rams forever. I needed the Chiefs to to win that game for my picks. That's a really bad way to start the year. A really bad way. Lions played kind of nervous throughout the game, but it's just week 1. I think it was a mix of nerves, and I also think it was just rust. A ton of rust that they needed to shake off. And I think they did a good job of settling in when they really started to play their own type of football. But when they weren't, that's when it got to be a mess. I want to see if I can find this. Okay, here we go. Here's the MVS toss. Why is this notification still sitting here? Hide notification. All right. Share screen. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. This was just nutty, man. This was just nutty. It's 3rd and 17. This is what I'm talking about. This was the difference in the game in the first half, the quarterback play. I don't think Mahomes got worse in the second half. I think Mahomes just got screwed in the second half. Goff improved. Tigers. Can you guys hear it when I play it? Like, can you guys hear that? Someone let me know. Because I'm going to turn it off. If not, I don't really want to hear it personally. But 3rd and 17, Mahomes drops back, clean pocket. I mean, as great of a throw as it is, he gets scared. I think he gets scared. I don't know. Who is that? Is that Branch? No, who is that? I don't know who's 23 for Detroit. Lions depth chart. Is it Tracy Walker? Dude, can I just have the numbers for these players, please? Help me out. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Who's 23 for the Lions? I can't read that name. Jerry Jacobs. It is Jerry Jacobs. Okay, he gets scared. Like, if we're being honest, oh man. I mean, he should have been killed. Maybe I'm just being too particular, but like, it looks like to me that MVS, like if this was 2005, 2010, MVS is probably decapitated. MVS is probably in a hospital bed. MVS is probably actually 6 feet under the ground. They're probably still actively digging MVS up if this was like 10, 12, 14 years ago. I think Jerry Jacobs just kind of pulls up, whether it's probably just, he doesn't want to kill himself. He doesn't want to kill MVS. I respect it. Like, if I'm Jerry Jacobs, I'm not going to be mad that he made that decision. Who knows? Like, if he goes in there ready to suck blood off of MVS's dead body, then, who knows what could possibly happen. We've seen way too many scary injuries occur. Actually, I think he was just going for the ball. Let me go back. I think he's just tracking the ball the whole way. He loses sight of MVS. I don't even think he was looking at the receiver, which was the mistake here. He was just going for the ball, and he got beat to it. But he takes this odd, like, curl angle. I wish I could see the L22 of it. It doesn't look like he takes, like, it looks like he's curving to it instead of cutting under it. I think if he comes from about, like, the 25 here, or the 35, if he just, like, cut underneath to it instead of, he kind of, like, moons it. You see what I mean? He kind of, like, curls to it. But, yeah. I mean, that ball was gross. That ball was just absolutely nuts, per usual, from Mr. Mahomes. I want to find that last throw. Let's see if I can find it, that 4th down throw. Oh, wow, this play. Okay. I thought the Lions lost the game here. What did we think of this play call? What do we think? I think going for it here was fine. I don't know. And the Lions are going to go for it. Oh my God. They're going to throw for it. I don't know. Maybe it's just good defense, I guess. And the Lions are it's hard to play. Hard to play devil's advocate here. I think it's just a good defensive play, to be honest with you. Everybody just gets boxed. Amon-Ra's alone. Like, ideally, in my opinion, you have two options. You design something around Amon-Ra to get him open in space quick, or you just line up and punch him in the mouth again and run the ball. Hope you get the 2 yards, and that's your ball game. Yeah, I think so too. I think, obviously if this is completed on a quick ball, we're not even thinking about it. But we saw that even when the Lions were throwing the ball in these short yardage situations and it wasn't working, it's not like they were going to Amon-Ra either. Like, I was very puzzled at the lack of like Amon-Ra in the short game at times. Like, he had that one bubble screen kind of thing. Well, otherwise, I think most of Amon-Ra's grabs were on the intermediate side, 13, 14, 15 yards down the field, when I think Amon-Ra will do his best work in these types of situations. And he's split out wide here. And it looks like, to me, he's going completely upfield. So not sure why you're not looking for him here. It looks like they tried to set up some sort of pick route, but it gets blown up. Like, why are we running? Hold on. .62. Okay, he's not as tall as I thought. Like, well, why are we running these pick routes with Josh Reynolds and Marvin Jones? Not to mention, Marvin Jones had a fumble earlier in the game. Marvin Jones dropped that screen pass, and then they also ran a screen pass with Josh Reynolds that got dropped. Why are we using the wrong wide receivers in these situations? Why is Amon-Ra not running this? Amon-Ra beats whoever that is so easily. I don't know. Maybe it's because they don't want to draw too much attention on one side. I don't know. I think this play design, play call was just, if anything, poorly executed. That's for sure. Definitely poorly executed. Do I want to call it poor play calling? Perhaps. I think the personnel and who was where was bad. But I mean, a great stand by the Chiefs defense, nonetheless. An absolutely beautiful stand. And I thought that's when the game was over, and it should have been. Kadarius Toney has that grab, and the game is over. And the game is way over. Not even close. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, what was I even looking for? What was I even looking for? Can someone remind me what I was looking for? Oh, the 4th down ball by Mahomes to Sky Moore. Let me see if I can find it looking up 25. Okay, here we go. Yo, shout out this JPA football page. Okay. This could have been caught. Kind of sick that it wasn't. I don't know if it gets deflected. Does it get deflected? This is some shit quality. No way he gets up there. No, it doesn't. That has to be caught. I mean, if I'm Andy Reid, I never want to see Sky Moore in red and white again. Ever. I never, ever, ever want to see Sky Moore in red and white again. That needs to be caught. It does. After the drop earlier in the drive, he probably had another drop earlier in the game. This needs to be caught. Yeah, that's bad. That needs to be grabbed. That needs to be grabbed. Wow. That needs to be grabbed. Was going for it on 4th and 25 the right decision? Probably not. Am I mad about it? No, because the difficulty of stop. They knew that they weren't going to stop the Lions 3 straight times on the ground, so I get it. I just think this needs to be grabbed. Literally, it's literally Jalen Reagor. This is the Jalen Reagor situation. Oh yeah, Toney was brutal. Toney was worse. Toney was far worse, but we all know that. Toney was far, 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 far worse. This though, for sure needs to be a grab. It just goes off his hands. Like, I mean, the ball could not be any more perfect. It couldn't be any more perfect. I'm going to bookmark that. Let's look up the Kadarius Toney drop. Oh my God. What a depressing performance. Kadarius Toney at negative 2.19 expected points added per target. Put it this way. Throw the ball at Kadarius Toney 3 times, the other team scores a touchdown. Holy shit. Holy shit. That's insane. That's insane. Man, I want these numbers. How does he get these so fast? How does he get these so fast? Oh, here it is. Trending. Chiefs Patrick Mahomes says he has trust in Kadarius Toney. I think he does. I don't think this changes your outlook on Kadarius Toney too much. That's not the clip I want. I definitely didn't expect. I didn't know that Kadarius Toney had this type of bone in his body. I didn't know the guy had nerves, to be honest with you. Like, I thought Kadarius Toney just like went out there and had fun, like didn't give a shit. But obviously he's a human being. I thought he was an alien. It's a hard adjustment, but it needs to be caught. Hard adjustment, but needs to be caught. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Shit. How the only question. Yeah, I mean, Kadarius Toney's going to get sent to the dungeon. Kadarius Toney's going to get sent down to the Andy Reid hamburger, cheeseburger dungeon. I'll take a quick second to, is it this one? This way? If you're a sports enjoyer that likes to occasionally throw money down on a game, trying to make a couple extra bucks to enjoy a game a little bit more, like I do myself, it would help me out greatly. I use Sleeper Picks. They have partnered with me. If you use my code CAVE, or if you use the link down in the description, if you click on my LinkTree, use the link in my description. Click on the link in my description, and in my LinkTree there is a link that will take you to sign up for Sleeper Picks. You get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit. So if you deposit $50, you get $100. You deposit $20, you get $40, et cetera, et cetera. It would help me out a lot if you did, and I would appreciate it. Was there really anything else that I don't think there was really much else that occurred in this game that's worth talking about. I think my final thoughts would be this. If I'm the Lions, of course, you want to feel great about that game, but it wasn't perfect. You still have a lot to figure out, but I think the good news is they know what type of football they want to play. And I think, at least you would like to think, they're going to apply it going forward. And if you're Kansas City, I wouldn't be too worried either. As long as Kelce's okay, they're going to be fine. I think that receiver room settles down, and if and when Kelce returns, they'll all kind of go back to being their specialist roles and just making a catch that comes to them every so often, and not really having to do much more, not really having to be a part of the big moment as much as they had to be tonight. So, the Chiefs are fine. The Chiefs are fine. What was it, a couple of years ago, and the Chiefs were like 2-3? Let's see. Chiefs. Like, to freak out about this game, I don't think anybody really is going to overreact too much. But for the sake of going back and remembering, here it is. Yep. For the sake of going back and reminding everyone why early in the season doesn't really matter, number one, and number two, why not to overreact to anything. This was back in 2021. I think this was the year they lost to they lost to Cincy. Yeah, they lost to Cincy in the conference championship. They started off 1-0, then went to 1-2, and then went to 1-3, and then went to 2-2, and then went to 2-3, and then went to 3-3, then went to 3-4, and then they just ripped off a bunch of wins in a row. So it's early. A lot of rust that was shaken off tonight. There's going to be a lot more rust shaken off over the weekend, and I'm excited to watch every single little bit of it. But those are my thoughts, guys. I appreciate you all for jumping in, leaving your opinions. It was a good stream. A lot to talk about, a lot to break down. And I plan on live streaming throughout the season. So if you are interested, subscribe to the channel. I will be streaming throughout the year. For all these primetime games, I'm going to have a schedule planned out. I'm not going to go live. If the game is good, I'll go live. But I'm not going to go live if we have like a Colts Broncos repeat of Thursday Night Football last year. Like, I'm not going to live stream after a game like that. I'm just going to go to bed and cry myself to sleep. So, but yeah, if you are interested in sticking around, definitely hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all. Be sure you're using code CAVE on Sleeper Picks, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.